everyone, welcome to an episode of my Lit Review series. Today I have for you the new World Travelers collection from Goose Creek. There are 10 candles in this collection. I do have 8 of them to share with you today. 2 of them are relabels and already familiar to me, so I will be going over those as well. But the cold impression and first burn impression are going to be just those 8 that are new to me, and some of these, I think 5 of them, are also new fragrances to Goose Creek. My name is Tracy, and this is the 3-Wick Thesis Candle channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. I did do a poll to see which of the new collections you all would want to see first, and this one was the winner by quite the margin. I do have the other 2 here. They're just waiting to be reviewed, so they will be coming along as quickly as possible. Want to make sure I get caught up because when I was out of town last week, all of these great deliveries appeared, and I wasn't here to consume them and make videos for you. Okay, so let's start with the cold impressions on the 8 that I received. Then I'll try all these out, come back and record a first impression, and I'll also talk about the 2 I did not order, just so you have insight into those. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is the China candle. And all of these in the series have the white lid, and then they all have a transparent jar. It's a little bit see-through. You can see the wax there. And then this is a colored label that's attached to the jar, and each one of them has a different color label. And then each one also has this really cute kind of postage stamp design that also includes a sort of like passport stamp here. This one is a passport stamp for Canada on the sticker. So pretty fun. It makes me think of sending a postcard or having a passport with you and doing some world traveling. Also, each one has a picture or an image that makes you think of that location, which I think is a nice touch. And I also feel like they did a pretty good job of including fragrances that would be relevant to the geographical area that is represented by the label. So China's scent is sugared lychee, and the scent notes on that are red lychee, sweet strawberries, and crystallized sugar. I don't know how I feel about this one. It's lychee forward. It's pretty. It's a little bit confusing to my brain, a little bit perplexing. I was expecting the lychee to be a little bit more floral. Lychee often has, it almost feels like a rose fragrance to me, at least when you eat it. And this is very fruity. It's very much like the fruity essence of lychee. And then it's mixing with what feels like a very, very ripe strawberry. And I think I'm craving, there's just something that's almost bitter. And almost like the fruit is too ripe. It's delicious, and I think it's probably going to warm well. On cold, I'm just really searching for what feels more like a pure lychee or a pure strawberry, and they're a little bit off balanced. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty, but I'm not sure how it's going to perform on warm. These wicks are pretty thin. They're not the thin, curly kind, but these are definitely not thick, ropey wicks, and white wax on that one. Next one we're going to pull out here is the Brazil. Love the purple on this, y'all. That's just a gorgeous purple. And then you've got kind of a beach mountainous scene here. This one is the Passion Fruit Capriana. This one is a new fragrance along with the China one. Scent notes are passion fruit nectar, sparkling lime, and sugarcane juice. That one's really pretty. I am actually picking up on the lime, which oftentimes I can't really smell lime. I'm a little bit nose blind with citrus. I'm just getting kind of like a tartness from the lime, but mostly getting the passion fruit nectar. And it does smell, I don't want to say full passion fruit because that can be a little bit, what's the right word? Bright. It almost can smell like urine sometimes. I don't get that from this. You just kind of get like the fruity essence of a passion fruit, and then that sugar from the sugarcane juice, I think, is just really helping to balance out some of those really sharp notes that you would normally get from passion fruit. Because lime is also really bright. So I feel like you have these kind of like high-pitched notes paired with the grounding element of the sugarcane juice. I think this is going to warm really nicely. It's fruity, juicy, really pretty. And the wicks on these they look like they're the same. Thin, a little bit ropey, white wax on that one as well. Okay, next I pulled out Belgium. It's got this really pretty orange jar, and then we have a label that looks like a downtown scene right on a canal. Another stamp there says arrival. This one is called Sweet Shop. This is not a new fragrance, but it is new to me, so this will be my first impression. Scent notes are warm pastries, baked dough, vanilla icing, and sweet bakery air. Okay, I'm going to start by saying this smells a lot like the Peter Rabbit bread and milk candle. I'm getting kind of like a hint of a bread note, but it's like a cinnamon bread. And it's a warm cinnamon, but I also just get like a tinge of what feels like a spicy cinnamon in there too. Yeah, this smells a lot like the bread and milk. I like this one better. I feel like the bread and milk has kind of this like hint of like a lactonic note that I'm not a fan of. I don't get that in this. And then I'm also kind of getting like a pastry note that reminds me a little bit of the honey buns vibe. I forget. I'll put that candle up here. I don't remember exactly what it was called. It's not as sweet as that one, and it's definitely not as cinnamony as that one, but there's just like this pastry note kind of tied in with what I think smells like the bread and milk candle. It's not what I was expecting. I think I was expecting it to smell a little bit more like a pastry, a little bit sweeter, especially with that vanilla icing. I don't get much vanilla at all. This just smells like a cinnamon bread to me with a hint of like sweetness and pastry. Yeah. Interesting to see how that comes to life. I think it'll probably burn better on warm than I'm smelling it on cold, but we will see. Oh, let me show you the wax on that one too. I think these are probably all going to be the same. Yeah, this wick has got some fuzz on there. There we go. So, same wax, same wicks. Next is Germany. This is also a returning fragrance, but new to me. Same wax and wicks. Woo, I'm getting a whiff of the chocolate that is in this one. This one's kind of like a brownish, it almost looks like a brownish purple, but it's more brown in person than it is purple. And then you've got a picture here of Germany. This looks more like South Germany, like Munich. The places in Berlin don't necessarily look like that. And the Black Forest region of Germany is usually, I think, like the northwest part. Actually, that's where some of my family is from, is that region on my dad's side. Scent notes on this one are rich chocolate cake, sweet cherries, and whipped cream. Okay. The chocolate note feels a little fake to me. It feels a little chocolate coin, which makes me sad. But the cherry is not medicinal. It's not my unfavorite cherry. It smells much more like a baked cherry would be. This almost smells to me like, I'll put a picture up here of these like chocolate covered cherries. My dad used to love those. I would get them for him every year at Christmas when I was a kid because they were affordable and he would just eat them like crazy. This smells kind of like how that chocolate covered cherry tastes. You get like a hint of a cake note, but the cake note almost feels more vanilla-y than chocolate. But then the chocolate almost smells like a chocolate frosting that's in here, but it's not a buttercream. And then you get that sweetness, gooey, candied cherry note. And I don't get much whipped cream. Unless that's where that vanilla scent is coming from, but it really does smell more like a frosting to me. Yeah. It's not horrible. I like it, and I'm really intrigued by the combination and that the cherry in there is blending really nicely with the chocolate. Just a little bit worried about the fakeness of the chocolate fragrance. Okay, this one is Jamaica, also a returning fragrance. Love the yellow label on this one. It is absolutely beautiful. It's just bright and summery. And then you've got like a downtown scene of Jamaica here. Got some like little grass roof. Got a couple more stamps. Stamped December 2002. That's kind of funny. And another stamp from 2007. This one is fruitcake. And it has scent notes of dried fruits, island spice, Caribbean rum, and warm cake. Okay. Yeah. It's wow, that's interesting. It's spicy. I like it. It almost smells like a fall fragrance to me though. Definitely cinnamon in there, and it's more of a spicy cinnamon than it is a warm cinnamon. I think you could convince me that there's something more earthy in terms of spice, like maybe a cardamom or a nutmeg, but mostly cinnamon. I don't get a whole lot of fruit. This almost just smells like a spice cake. But it's not quite as spicy as the carrot cake, and it's definitely not as spicy as like the gingerbread Betty Crocker candle. That one was just like intense. This is like a very subtle version of those two. And there's like a creamy vanilla in here. I'm guessing that might be coming from the rum because Caribbean rum tends to be sweeter. It's not quite as boozy, and it kind of leans towards sweet. Could be coming from the fruit note too, but honestly, I don't get a lot of dried fruit. I was expecting like a raisin scent or like a dried cherry, something more that I would think of if I grab like a handful of dried fruit from a bag. Yeah, I mostly just get like spice and cake. It's good. It feels more fall to me, but it's yummy. Okay, next is Austria. This is the apple strudel. This one is a new fragrance from Goose Creek. Love this green label. And I've visited Austria. It looks like that, y'all. It's beautiful there. I went during the winter, and it was the only place I went during my winter trip that was actually relatively warm. It was just a really nice place to visit. Let me see. I didn't show you the wicks on the last one. Yeah, they're the same. I think these are all going to have the same wax and wicks because this one also has the same. Okay, scent notes on this one. Apple strudel are sweet cinnamon apples, ground clove, and puff pastry. Okay, this reminds me, I'll put a picture up here. It reminds me a lot of the Welcome Home fall candle that came out. It's that same kind of like fresh burst of apple. It's not as strong as that one. But imagine that really just bright, juicy apple. And it's definitely a red apple. This is not a green apple to me. It almost smells like a Macintosh. Tied in with some warm spice. It's definitely a cinnamon spice. I feel like I'm getting like a hint of nutmeg in this one as well. It says clove, but this is not a strong clove fragrance. Not to my nose. I really love clove in candles, and I'm craving more of it. It's in there, but it's subtle to me. Well balanced with the tartness of the apple. And then it just smells like ooey gooey. I don't actually get much of a pastry note at all. Like this doesn't smell like pie crust. This doesn't smell like crumble. There's just this kind of like element of, it feels like this was baked. Just like a very small hint of pastry. I mean, puff pastry is not super flavorful. It's mostly just really light and flaky. And I think when you use puff pastry, it's more about like the crunch of the texture and really highlighting what you're stuffing it with. So it makes sense. Yeah, that's gorgeous. I want to eat that. This will not be a scent to table episode though, y'all. I don't deal well with puff pastry. It is not like me. We do not get along. Okay, next one is France. This one also has the white wax, same wicks, blue label, which I absolutely love, And then it's got a picture of the Eiffel Tower and a little cafe over here. This one is the pain au chocolat. This is supposed to smell like a chocolate croissant. Scent notes on this one are milk chocolate, flaky butter croissants, and powdered sugar. Yum. Oh my gosh. I want to eat this. Oh, that's delicious. Okay. You get the croissant note first. Goose Creek, to me, has a way of making their bake note candles a little bit too strong on the bakery note. This one is actually very pleasant. I feel like you really feel like you're holding a chocolate croissant in your hand. And the chocolate is smooth and creamy. It definitely feels like the melted ooey gooey chocolate you'd have inside of a croissant. A little bit bitter, a little bit sweet. Definitely a more milky chocolate, but not like super milky. I would consider this more of like a semi-sweet. You get just a hint of that lactose, and really it's just a creamy melted chocolate scent. It's sweet. I don't get the powdered sugar a whole lot. But like if you've had a chocolate croissant from Starbucks and you kind of, ugh, this makes me want to go eat one. You like pull it out of the bag and you take that bite and it like kind of drips that chocolate out and it's warm and kind of crunchy and gooey. That is exactly what this smells like on cold. Wow, they nailed that one. It smells just like a chocolate croissant. Delicious if you're into foodie candles. All right, last one that I purchased is Japan. This one is a new fragrance. I love the florals on this one. Mountain in the background. Also a green label, but lighter than the other one. This is a little bit more of like a lime color. And let's see. Yep, same wax, same wicks on this one. And this is green tea and white peach. Scent notes are juicy white peach, green tea, and sugared ice. Huh. I think I like it. This is also reminding me of one of the like the Clean Vibes collection they came out with, but I can't quite place it. The peach in it is pretty good. I wouldn't say it's super juicy, and it does have a bit of that kind of bright sour note that peach can have that kind of smells a little bit urine-y. But with the green tea in there, it's not reading urine-y. It's actually kind of combining with that green tea note to almost smell like a cleaner. It's very fresh. It's very peach fruity in terms of like you can tell there's peach in here, but I don't really get like a strong sense of what type of green tea this is supposed to be. It doesn't smell like matcha. I'm not getting like a jasmine green tea. It's not an earthy or grassy green tea. Yeah, it kind of just smells more like a floral green tea of some sort, but I don't think it smells like jasmine. It's lost in there with the peach. There's almost like a sour tartness, like it almost smells like a sour peach candy. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Not what I was expecting. And honestly, I don't know. I don't know if this is really representative of Japanese tea. I would have loved to have seen like a ceremonial matcha. Yeah. I was gonna put this in my green tea episode for my Talking Tea Tuesdays, but given that peach note, I'm gonna put it in the fruit tea episode instead. I think it's more appropriate there. I've got another white peach one that I'm doing in that episode. Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. We'll see when it comes to life on warm. Speaking of that, I'm gonna go fire these up and take notes, and I'll come back after the cut and share with you my first impressions so you have an idea of how these evolve when they're lit. All right, y'all. I have traveled the world. I have been to all 10 countries and I took traveling notes. So I'm going to start with the 8 candles that I purchased, and I'm going to go in the same order as I did with the cold impressions. And then I'm going to end my review by talking about the 2 candles that I did not buy new in this line but were relabels. So I'll talk about those 2. And I'm going to rank them, tell you which ones are my favorites. And a couple of these were surprises to me, so I'm excited to share what I found. Just something to keep in mind, this is a first burn impression. I have not spent enough time with these candles to tell you about the full burn quality, not even the full throw potential. Sometimes candles take 2 to 3 burns to come to life, but this is a good read, I think, of the general overall fragrance that I pick up on warm. I'll also note that a couple of these feel like candles that I think are going to grow on me. I'm not too sure I like them right now, but they feel like the kind of thing that if I keep burning it, I'll start to like it. So I'll be sure to take note of those for you as well. So let's start with China, because that was our first cold impression candle. Now this one, it's interesting. This is one I think is going to grow on me. It is relatively mild considering how strong that lychee note is on cold. It still has good throw. I would say that it's more so that it's a strong fragrance and that the throw is okay. If you're sitting next to it, it is super strong. And I would say if you're within like 6 feet of it, it's pretty strong. But entering the room, it feels pretty light. So strong performance, but not necessarily equivalently strong throw, which probably is a good thing because this thing is kind of a beast. The lychee does become more floral on warm, and I think it verges on the point of being too sharp. It's good, but there's something that when I walk into the room, it just kind of hits me and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. If you like lychee, like eating the actual fruit, I think this is authentic to that taste. Like this, it smells how it tastes. You get the kind of juicy sweetness with a little bit of perfuminess in there from that floral note that's in the lychee. And then the strawberry feels very secondary in this candle. It's almost like a background fragrance. It doesn't do much to balance the brightness and the sharpness of the lychee. Maybe just adds a hint of sweetness, and it reminds me a little bit of the strawberry that's in the rain-drenched strawberry. It's much more a fresh strawberry note and not like a jammy one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about this one. I don't think it's horrible. I like it that in the sense that I've been shopping for candles for, pretty, like, really invested in shopping in candles for almost, 8-9 months, and I haven't come across a lot of lychee fragrances, so I like it for that reason in and of itself. Like, this is unique to my collection, and I have a lot of candles, so that's nice. I appreciate that. I'm going to keep burning this one, because, again, I think it might grow on me, but right now I'm just kind of like, oh, I don't know about that one, y'all. Number 2 was Brazil. Love the jar still. Beautiful when it glows too. Which, by the way, I am putting the glow videos over here so you can see what they look like, both in a lit room and also with the lights down. This one, I don't know, y'all. My husband and I feel differently about it. I will say he is more of a citrus lover, so he loves grapefruit candles, for example. And to me, sometimes grapefruit can smell a little bit urine-y, that really, really high-pitched, sharp, bitter note that comes through with grapefruit. Now, this is not a grapefruit candle. This is a passion fruit nectar candle. But when you walk into the room with this one, you are hit with a very strong wall of what, to me, almost smells like cat urine. It's like got an ammonia essence to it, and that's that passion fruit. And passion fruit is a very tart, a very kind of bitter, sharp, high-pitched note. When you eat it, you get that sense. He wrote it as more of a grapefruit, so I would say if you don't like grapefruit, this one is not for you. I clearly recognized it as passion fruit nectar, and I associated it with like drinking a passion fruit LaCroix. It kind of has that same essence. You feel that passion fruit, the kind of bitter sharpness. It's good, but it is so close to being too far to the point where it starts to smell a little urine-y. Luckily, you do get a sense of fruitiness and juiciness in there, I think probably coming from the lime, and you get a little bit of that sugariness from the sugarcane juice, which does help to balance it a little bit, but in my opinion does not balance it enough. Let me see if yeah, that's the only other notes I have. So I would say this is another one that I feel like is going to grow on me. I think I have to just adjust the fact that it's a passion fruit candle and that it's going to have that fragrance to it. I think it's pretty. Again, I like that it feels a little bit unique. Love the way the jar looks when this one's burning. I'm gonna keep burning it. Hubs likes it, so that always helps. And I think I'll warm up to it. But we'll see. You need to be prepared for it giving that kind of grapefruit vibe because it is pretty strong. And pretty good throw on that one too. I would say both strength and throw were good. Not capital T throw, but good. Let's see. I'm gonna start to put these in order. The next one is Belgium. That was the third one we did cold impression on. Now this one has pretty good throw and I would say okay strength. This is the Sweet Shop. It's not super strong, but I could smell it kind of further away. So you might argue that the scent of this one's a little bit elusive. It's not going to be super strong when you're sitting right next to it, but if you're up and moving about, you get a sense of the candle much more effectively. Now on warm, this really just smells like fresh bread with cinnamon. It reminds me of, which is ironic because this is the Belgium country, not the France one. It smells a little bit like French bread or like French roll, not necessarily like a baguette, but like a French roll. And I get the sense of like you just took it out of the oven. It's crunchy on the outside. You kind of broke it open and you get that like steam bread scent that comes out. It reminds me of that. And maybe even very slightly like a sweet French roll. And then you get a hint of cinnamon. The cinnamon is not strong at all. I put my notes, fresh bread with hint of cinnamon. It's just a little bit sweet, a little bit spicy, and very much feels like a bread candle. The hubs, I asked him if he thought it smelled like the bread and milk candle from the Peter Rabbit line. He said that he can see some similarities, which I can too, but that this one there's like a weird note that's in the bread and milk candle. This one doesn't have that. So this literally just smells like bread and cinnamon to me. I don't think it smells like a bake shop. I was expecting more of that vanilla icing to come through. I was expecting more of the sweet bakery air to come through. To me, this is a cinnamon bread. It's not like a cinnamon roll, but like a cinnamon bread candle. It is really nice if you pair it with Jamaica. So if you're craving more spice so that it smells less like bread, these two together are gorgeous. And I probably will burn these at the same time for that reason. I'll talk more about Jamaica in just a second. Let's see, anything else? Nope, that's it for my notes on Belgium. I'm gonna put that one there. Okay, number 4 is the Germany Black Forest cake. Now this one is fresh off of the flame, so I am not gonna open that up too much. The wax is still re-solidifying. It's pretty goopy, but this is the Germany one. This is the Black Forest cake. Y'all, this one, I was shocked at how much I really enjoyed this candle. So it's very pleasant. It feels very well balanced. That chocolate cake note is very gooey. It almost reads like a brownie batter to me. It doesn't smell as artificial on warm, which is good. I really appreciate that. And the cherry doesn't come through really strong. So it is not, to me, it is not a cherry candle. It is a chocolate candle with a cherry essence, and the cherry essence reads to me a little bit more like a liqueur. So it's not boozy, but you get this like thick syrupy sweet note from the cherry, not so much like the fruitiness or a medicinal note from the cherry. So it's just really pleasant. It kind of adds some complexity to the chocolate, so it's not just a one note. I would say that this had medium strength, almost strong strength. If you're sitting next to it, I could smell it. I actually had this going. I just finished a Zoom call this morning, had this going during the meeting, and I was like, wow, this is really nice. The whole time I was in the meeting, I kept thinking about how nice it smelled. So I could smell it really well next to me. And when I got up and left the room and came back in, I could smell it. But I wouldn't say it's super strong. It's almost like this is just good enough. I don't think it would work in an open concept. I test all of these candles in about the same size room and in a garage space that is a converted garage to an office, so no windows, doors sealed off. It did well in there. I don't think it would do well in open concept. Okay, anything else about Germany? No, that's it. All right, so let's come back to Jamaica. This one, y'all, I don't know how I feel about it. It's basically a spice cake. It smells a lot to me like the carrot cake from the Peter Rabbit line. Lots of cinnamon, very warm and spicy. Again, it pairs well with Belgium. I don't really get the rum element at all. I don't get even much of a cake or dried fruit. To me, this just smells like a spicy sweetness, almost like a spicy icing. Because I don't get buttercream, and I don't feel like I get much of the fruit. Yeah, it feels more fall to me. I don't think I would burn this one alone or repurchase it for that matter, but I am excited about lighting this up with my carrot cake candles that are left in this rotation. I'm also excited about burning this with the Belgium candle. So I see this one almost as like a booster to other fall warm spicy candles or fall-esque spicy candles. It will complement it really nicely, but I don't know that I'd want this standalone by itself because it feels very simple to me. The strength and throw on this one for a spicy candle felt pretty light to me. I wouldn't say that it's like low throw, but it's definitely not strong. If you're sitting next to it, you get some pretty good strength, but the throw didn't seem to pick up as much as what I would normally expect with a spicy candle, which might be a good thing because it is pretty spice heavy, and I would be a little bit afraid that it could overpower things if it was too strong. Let me see how I want to arrange this here. Okay. I think... Oh, it's already getting complicated, y'all. Okay. Next one is Austria. This one's also really interesting to me. I don't know if I like this one. Cold impression, I said I wasn't getting much clove. That really changes on warm, and I like clove candles. The problem with this one is that it reads a lot like a warm applesauce. It literally smells like applesauce with like cinnamon and clove in it. But it also feels like they put way too much clove in it, which is interesting because on cold I couldn't smell the clove at all, but on warm it's like, you know, you went to sprinkle a little bit of clove on your applesauce and it went it's just dumped out a bunch on top of it. So I like clove, but it feels imbalanced. The other thing I will say is that the clove in it almost starts to read perfumey, so it's like right on the verge of almost feeling inedible. And with my apple fragrances, I tend to like them to be edible and not perfumey or cologne-y at all. So that's just a little bit off-putting. And then the pastry note is in there, but it is very, very light. It's definitely a puff pastry essence. You don't get like a lot of butter. You don't get a lot of dense feeling from the bakery. It's a very light, kind of subtle background pastry note that's in there. Really, the focus is on clove, then apple, then cinnamon, then puff pastry. Strength on this one was, I would say, good. It wasn't super strong. The throw was good. And honestly, this just reminds me of a fall harvest candle. I would probably burn this in the fall. It's a beautiful fragrance for that season. It doesn't feel quite right for the current month, which is April. Okay, let me put this one, put that one there. Next I have France. Oh, I love it. This is the chocolate croissant one. Y'all, this one's beautiful. Probably one of my favorites of the bunch. It smells just like it does on warm as it does on cold. It is warm. It is a gooey pastry. It very much feels like you broke open a chocolate croissant. And maybe the dough is like a little bit undercooked, a little bit goopy in the middle. Kind of like if the buttery kind of soaks into the croissant. And then I get the sense of a melted, ooey gooey milk chocolate semi-sweet in there. I do think the chocolate wasn't as strong as I was expecting it to be. This is very much a croissant fragrance first. Not almond croissant. It doesn't have that almond element in it, but it does have the pastry, flaky, buttery croissant note to it. I did want more chocolate, but I do think that it's well done. I think you could overdo it with this one, and if you added too much chocolate, it would become a chocolate candle. And I think that they honored that this is a croissant candle first. In terms of throw, I would say this was average. Didn't get a sense of it being super strong. It wasn't poor, but I would take more throw on this one. It is not, for example, Bath & Body Works almond croissant level throw. It is much, much tamer, and the strength is much lower on this one. But overall, delicious. This one absolutely would be a repurchase for me. If you are a foodie, a gourmandie, and you like croissant and chocolate, you have to get this one. Plus the jar, beautiful color. Love that one so much. Okay, and then last, and I might argue one of the least, is the Japan candle. I don't want to rag on this one too much, but there's something not right about this candle. Yeah, it's got the peach in there. I don't even know how to describe what's happening with this candle. The green tea in it comes through as kind of soapy to me, and I think green tea and I think grassy or like matcha powder. I don't think soapy, but that green tea comes through almost as a soapy note with like a hint of earthiness. You do get the green tea more on warm than you do on cold, but then you also get the peach in there, and the peach is... There's something about the combination of the peach with the green tea that really, to me, just makes this almost smell like a cleaner of some sort. I can't place in my head, like, what cleaner is this? But I almost feel like this candle belongs in, like, the recent pastel neutral jar one that had a bunch of, like, Sunday reset and cleaning vibes to it. I almost feel like you could put this one in that collection and it would make more sense. I really was craving something much more grassy and true to Japanese teas. I don't like it. And I am using this in my tea episodes, so you're going to see more of this in the future, but it's not going to be one that I'm going to enjoy burning. And if I hadn't burned it, and if I didn't have a channel, this would have been a return for me. Now, to be fair, I don't like peach fragrances in general. It takes a lot to impress me with a peach fragrance. So that could be some bias coming in there. I just have issues with it in general. Okay, the last two are ones that I did not buy, but are just repackages of ones that I have. One of them is the Netherlands, which is actually just a repackage of the Dutch Stroopwafel. I have burned this one several times. I really enjoy it. It's a delicious, foodie candle. Scent notes are crisp waffle, creamy caramel, buttery dough, honey, and vanilla. If you like caramel candles, but you're maybe put off by how cloyingly sweet they can be and how really powerful they can be, this is a good choice for you, because the waffle note in this and the vanilla help to anchor that caramel. You don't get as much of that like gooey, cloying sweetness. It's just really well balanced, and it just smells like somebody is eating a gooey bakery dessert with caramel on it. I love this one. This is a repurchase. I think this is the second one I've bought. I'm not buying it in this line just because I have, you can see, almost a full version of it here, and I don't have this planned in any of my rotations. But yeah, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous candle. Highly recommend the Netherlands if you want to try something that's caramelly and desserty, but not too overwhelming. Okay, the other one, which you may be asking, Tracy, why do you still have that jar that was in your empties like a month ago? This is the Sweet Tiramisu, which is the same candle as Italy. It is a repackage. I still have this jar despite it being in a previous month's empties video, because I have set this aside as potentially one of the worst candles I've burned in 2025, along with the Homeworks candle Espresso Martini. Different reasons I dislike those two candles, but this one is just not my thing. I don't know what this is. It has lost its compass. It smells nothing like tiramisu, and it, to me, doesn't even really smell like the scent notes that are in here. Italian espresso, whipped cream, cocoa, and sugar. I don't get cocoa. You could argue that there's a cream note in this, but it's almost like... I mean, it reminds me of like how a Cabbage Patch doll smells. It doesn't feel like an edible creaminess, and I think that's what I want. Tiramisu has mascarpone in it, and that's like a cheesy, a little bit sharp, creamy, sweet cheese note, and I just don't get that with this at all. The cocoa powder is kind of like the dusting you put on tiramisu. I'm not getting a hint of that when I burn this candle. The espresso is very muted. I have been known to describe this candle in a different video as smelling like you spilt coffee on a Cabbage Patch doll, and I stand by that interpretation. I know it's a weird one, but that's what I get. I don't like this candle. I don't know about the new jars. I haven't burnt them enough to know how they're gonna do, but the wax formula on the last one was pretty gross. Super City smoked a lot. That can be common with fragrances that are vanilla based, cream based, but I don't recommend this one at all. I mean, if you want to give it a try, by all means, but it doesn't smell like tiramisu. And I feel bad for Italy. There could have been better options available to them. So let's talk about ranking. Not a big surprise. This would be number 10. I mean, it doesn't compare. Even to the worst in the collection, it doesn't compare. Number 9 is going to be Japan. It's just too strange for me, and I don't think that one's going to grow on me. Number 8, I would do Belgium. It's simple, I like it, but I found it to be a little bit underwhelming. Next one would be Austria. If they had toned down that clove, I think I'd put that higher up on the list, but it's too clovey, and that's coming from someone who likes clove. It's just not balanced well with the apple. Then I would do China. That lychee is intriguing. Right now I'm a little off put by it, but I think it's going to grow on me. Same with Brazil, which is the next one I would do. That passion fruit in here is super sharp, super bright, super tangy, but I think I'm going to end up liking it more than I do right now. This one is just a solid spice candle. I'm a little bit torn about putting this in 4th place, but again, I think it's a good mixer. It's a good complement to a lot of different candles, and for that reason, it has a lot of utility. Number 3, I would do Germany's Black Forest Cake. Really love this one. It's new to me, not new to Goose Creek, but I'm glad to have this in my collection. I think it's a nice addition. Number 2, I would do as the Netherlands, the Dutch Stroopwafel. Really awesome foodie gourmand candle. And number 1 is going to go to France, the chocolate croissant. As you can tell, I really favored the foodie ones over the fruity ones here. This one's just gorgeous, and I will probably end up repurchasing this because I love it and I want to eat it, but I'm not going to make croissants, so I will buy a Starbucks croissant and eat that, and that will be equivalent. All right, y'all, which ones have you snagged? Are any of these a standout to you? Which ones are you most excited about? Are there any that you are surprised by after seeing this review? Put those comments down below. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Also, if you have any questions that you think I could answer about this series, this collection, go ahead and put those in there as well. If you appreciated this review, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I was so happy that I'm backlogged enough to give you all a choice of what you wanted to see first, so I know this made quite a few of you really happy, and some of you are wishing I'd done one of the other 2 collections first, but don't worry, those are on the horizon. They are coming. We'll probably have one more this week and another one next week. So if you aren't already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that those videos will show up in your feed. And if you want to be notified, sign up for notifications, and that way you know when my stuff is released, which is pretty much on the daily at this point. All right, y'all, I will see you in my next video. And until then, I hope y'all have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.